joining me as always, looking a little less red today. He's down to like a light pink, folks, in recovery. Andy, how we doing?
Yeah, I've been slathering on the old aloe. Didn't help with any of my losses yesterday. That still stung, but whatever. It was a decent weekend. We'll recover. You can't win every day, and I certainly did not win yesterday. I don't think any of my Euro stuff did very well. I not even the live betting. Like, oh, let's live bet some more Spain on the second half or Spain to score. What a frustrating match. And it's
Well, at
not
least
like
you
they
didn't
should have.
bet. At least you didn't bet 65 grand on over half a goal.
Yeah, like there's Andy messing around with the Euros and placing a few fun bets, and then there's some asshole putting that much money on that to score over at minus 2,000. I don't know, washing money or
Yeah.
just really feeling confident in that. That had to feel awful, especially like I mean, Sweden had a decent chance. Guy falls down over his feet basically when he's kicking it. Like that, there were some decent chances from both teams. That was surprising that one stayed under, but I don't know. We'll move on. The soccer gods, the betting gods, whatever, have offered me some reprieve by not giving me a morning game. So there's no early game today. I didn't have to. I did. I got my second monitor figured out here for some other stuff too. So I'm gonna have some soccer rolling all day while I'm working on golf and other things. But yeah, that's only two today, but some pretty well, one bad one and one really hopefully a good one with Germany France when we get to that. But I've started my US Open prep, started to look at the course a little. I've got the course record holder figured out. That was a pretty easy one. I've got the Nintendo course figured out for tonight, so I'd feel disrespectful beating the course record tonight, so I might just tie it. I don't know. I don't know how I can rig the scoring, but I'll figure something out. But yeah,
Just
U.S.
putt out
Open.
a lot at the end.
Yeah, maybe I should do
Like
the thing.
eight putt the last green.
The one, yeah, like the Lee Carvello's putting challenge in The Simpsons, where he picks a driver off the green and just whack one off the green. But yeah, I'm approaching this one a little differently. I think I will have a lot of matchups. I'll have a lot of head-to-heads. I'll probably have a lot of daily head-to-heads because the offerings will be pretty good. But something I've kind of been doing behind the scenes, I haven't been posting a lot of these because I don't know if I wanted a lot of people tailing all this. I've been playing quite a few top 20s. I think there's probably some negative correlation to playing a lot of top 20s because at a certain point, not everybody, if you bet 30 top 20s, just do the math on that. They can't all hit. It's not going to happen. You're hitting some negative correlation at that point. But some of the guys I have near the top of my numbers this week, some guys I've been betting for a few weeks. I mean, if you look at these names here on the screen, these are guys I've bet on outrights. These are guys I've bet, to win the top five, to, win some matchups. But with this stronger field, with all these big names in the field this week, I do think there's some decent value on some of these guys to still perform well. I don't have them falling off too big. Obviously, everyone's here. Rahm, DeChambeau, Koepka, Johnson, Rory, Cantlay, Xander. It gives you a bit of value on some of these. I don't want to say like also rans because these are good golfers. These are guys who can win tournaments, have won tournaments. But yeah, Paul Casey. I'm going to skip this one. So Paul Casey, Answer, and Jason Kokrak. Some guys I've bet quite a bit. Some guys I've bet to win. Kokrak even rewarded me. But getting almost 2-1 on all these are dead heat rule prices. But then Usti and Leishman, some foreigners. Actually, Answer's a foreigner. Casey's a foreigner. I think Kokrak's the only American. Never mind. They're all foreigners. But yeah, I like Usti a lot on these greens. I like Leishman a lot on the West Coast here. So a couple of guys I probably won't be betting to win. A lot of times in a field like this, but definitely some top 20 bets for me here. And I will be looking at most of these guys in matchups as already as I've looked from book to book, there's a big difference in matchups. Like it is every week, but sometimes you see a lot of overlap. I'm not seeing as much overlap. There's just weird matchups everywhere this week. So
I was going to ask you for the top 20, when you look at those, do you find that those correlate tightly with the outright market? As you start to look at those, I know it's tough probably to predict exactly what the chance necessarily is, but do you find value necessarily in this versus outright prices? Is there anyone on this list you haven't bet their outright price? Maybe is a good way to ask the question.
Yeah, I really haven't bet much for outrights yet at all this week. I've kind of taken it easy on there. Really, I bet Usti at 66. So, he is a guy I did bet in the outright market. But really, just yesterday, Usti and Patrick Reed, That's all I have for outrights right now. So I am taking it easy on that market. It's so tough when you have so many good players. Drew and I discussed this last night. He offered me basically it was a former winner of any major to win this compared to someone who's never won a major before. And he just said 50-50. And a lot of the guys who've already won a major are some guys I like. So instantly I'm like, well, give me the major winners. And then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, no, that's a horrible bet. That's like changed my mind just thinking about some of the guys who haven't won one yet.
That's really interesting.
John Rahm's the favorite. He's taken up like 9% of the win pool.
Right.
Obviously, Bryson Brooks, Dustin, Rory have all won, but I mean, you get Victor, Patrick Reed has won, but you get some other interesting names that haven't won one, and basically, like 140 guys in the field. So I said, well, I'm changing my mind. That's a stupid bet. I should definitely take it. And Drew actually found that price at minus 200 somewhere. And actually, somebody in the chat says DK has it up at minus 160. Minus 160 is not the worst price on that. Like I said, minus 200 might have been fair when Drew brought it up this morning. So something to think about if you're into some props. But yeah, Usti and Reed are my only outrights. These five: Casey Usti, Answer, Kokrak, and Mark with the C. Leishman at plus 275. He's the biggest one. Top 20 is for me for now. I'll have more stuff up, and obviously approaching the green tonight, I'll have a bunch of props.
Do you ever look at top 10, top 5? They're just 20.
Yeah, I'm going to take it easy on these. Like if I'm doing a longer shot, I will go top 30, top 40, but there are some guys where I do like the full, I don't want to steal it from tennis Twitter, but a ladder where you just bet everything, everything all the way. And it can't be a super, short price. Otherwise you're betting like minus 300 to top 40, yeah. But you bet the win 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, just bet everything. And then just watch them fly up the leaderboard on Thursday, count your money, and then watch them piss it all away over the weekend. These things happen. I've done that with Ashke Basha, who skinny little guy, looks like he should be in a spelling bee and not on the golf course, but he's good. He's going to be good. I bet him every which way. And he was like, I think he was not first round leader, but he was maybe second place after Thursday. Not one of those bets cashed. Like he's young and he had a bad weekend. Hurt pretty bad, but speaking of hurting bad, our Sixers didn't win. We don't have to worry about that for a couple days. We won't rub that in. We'll get on to tonight's action because this one's. I mean, let's just assume the Sixers win in 7. We're going to think positive thoughts. Sixers win.
We are
in 6 or 7. The knee feels better.
Would have been nice in 5.
Yeah, in 5 would have been good. So let's say it's in 6. The knee feels better. Who would you rather face as a fan and as somebody who's holding some Eastern Conference futures?
It's a really tough question. I think that the Nets are probably the team you'd rather face, and not even with the injuries. I think that that team at full strength, what the Sixers can do defensively, actually maybe works a little bit better for them versus what the Bucks can do defensively to the Sixers. We were talking before the show with ourselves and producer Dan here about this. It was really depressing, but my hope for the Sixers is that what Doc Rivers said in the post-game press conference, basically calling the team out, ripping them for playing iso ball, not playing together as a team, not trusting one another in the fourth quarter, which you saw. Anybody that was watching that game watched Sixers players dribbling a lot, dribbling off their knees, their feet, throwing the ball out of bounds, going 1-on-4. It was just really ugly. So maybe this is the moment in the grand story of the Sixers winning a championship where they struggle a little, get it back together, and that's the end of that. So I'm going to try to stay that way. I'm going to try to hope that that's the story, Andy.
Yeah, let's stick that way. So tonight, obviously no bet from you tonight. I don't even think I really have a lean, I guess. So it's Bucks -4, Nets obviously +4. So Bucks money line -175, a total of 218. I want to lean under, but I wish that said like 222 instead. So I'm probably just staying away from this game altogether. I'll cheer for the Nets, really. I'll cheer for the underdog, the plucky underdog super team. It's only 1/3 of the super team, and really, this seems like a very, very important game for the Bucks because if the Nets if the Bucks don't manage to take this one tonight, where they're favored, and there's possibility that like Harden comes back in Game 6, that's a problem. Like you you want Harden coming back in an elimination game for them, not you. So kind
Yeah,
of obviously this is like 30-30 in tennis. This is a super, super important game for both teams. So I will cheer for the Bucks, or excuse me, I'll cheer for the Nets, I suppose. I
that's
don't know.
fine. I'll cheer for the Bucks. We've got
I just don't
some
like
Bucks series
Milwaukee.
futures, and somebody holding those tickets. That you're right. I like your point that the Bucks, I think, really need to win this game. We'll see if James Harden plays. One of my favorite things to say in basketball. Harden was upgraded to doubtful tonight, so he's going to go into warmups, and we'll see if he decides to play. If he plays, the number will move up, a couple points, maybe 2 points, because Harden's not totally healthy here towards the Nets. But the Bucks should still be comfortably able to win this game. I don't see anything that the Nets can do, even with James Harden at, say, 75, 80%, to really keep this Bucks team, A, from scoring, and B, figuring out ways to score kind of at the end of games here. They've been ugly, but it's kind of the way the Bucks want to play it here. So I think you're right. If you are going to bet something here, look at an under, maybe sell some points, honestly, like look at like under 215 at a nice plus number, something like that. Because when they go under, they go way, way, way under. So again, nothing for me. Like you said, I was hoping to see something in the 220s and attack it under there. But for now being, I'll just cheer for the Bucks for the sake of my Bucks futures.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Let's just go basketball. Brett in the chat says maybe Nets team total under. Guessing what the implied is like 111, 107. That makes 4 points. Yeah, I think I nailed it. So 107, right around there. I guess I get down with that. Yeah, if you don't like the Nets in this one, maybe that's a good angle to approach. Like I said, Euros 2020 yesterday, disastrous for me. Not great. In fact, horrible. Spain couldn't score. Scotland was supposed to have scored. They couldn't capitalize on their chances. What was the other one? Oh, the under. Yeah, we had an own goal right off the bat. That was, and not only that, the own goal was my DFS keeper. So right off the bat, my DFS squad was dead. DED, not great. Needed a shutout from Poland. Bad loss for Poland. Like that was a rough look for them. But like I promised, I will continue to keep on keeping on. Maybe I'm just a fade play. I don't know. In soccer, probably. I don't know how you fade like Spain. How do you fade Spain wins to 0? Because if you'd have played like Sweden team total over a half, you'd have lost. I guess you could have just taken Sweden and the points. Like it was like Sweden plus 1.5. That would have got home. So
well, we have been honest. We're not the sharpest soccer cappers in the world.
Yeah, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to get a little cute here too, and I'm definitely looking for a Ronaldo penalty today. Maybe I should just play. You know what? Ronaldo, any goal scorer was probably lower than this. It was probably like even money anyway. Hungary
usually minus something.
Yeah, Hungary is wild right now. Like they are jacked. I think we have some photos of that even, but yeah, they are absolutely pumped to host this match. They're like flipping a coin for home and away, but it's still like this is an away match. This is kind of a home match for Hungary. They're still a pretty big underdog. This is the group of death. This is the tough place, or the tough matchup for them to play in, because they're going to have to play all these tough teams and they're not very good. But I'm just going to go with penalty awarded at plus 182. I think you can find it some other places. This is the best price I found. Even a couple matches ago, they gave up a penalty to like Andorra or something. So I'm going to go with that. Portugal hasn't taken a lot of penalties lately, but a lot of these warm-up matches, I'm not sure how much bearing I can put on that. So basically, Ronaldo to put one in from the spot later on in the match. And then France, Germany, I'd love to back Germany here. There's my squad. There's, that's my team. I'm from there, family there. I still can't bet them in this matchup. Like it's almost like a lame duck coach. It's
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, he's going to retire now. This team isn't as good as they once were. Kind of a disappointing result in the World Cup. Like it's
he's
still
going to
got
retire.
a lot.
Should it be one last hurrah? One last
I don't know
win for the Gipper or whatever his name is.
Again, these are warm-up matches and stuff, but man, they lost to North Macedonia. Like Germany hasn't looked great. They have a lot of good players, but I think you do need a good coach. Look what happened. Netherlands won, but yeah, the look for me was France, because there are some places dealing this at like minus 125. I found a France draw no bet at minus 110, so I'm going to play that. So France to win or tie for the push, I guess. Maybe that's what I can cheer for Germany. I do think it's a cagey match. Probably the under isn't a bad look. I know some smart people are on the under 2.5. I'm sick of cheering for unders, even though that seems to be the sharp side in some of these. When I did take an under, there was 3 goals. So France, pick them here. France, the more talented squad, even though this is going to be in Alemania. This will be up in Germany. So France pick -110 and penalty awarded +182. And we'll see how the rest of this group hashes out as we move on through the week.
I like that France play. I mean, that's a team. Their money line's usually -110, let alone the draw no bet. So,
yeah, you're gonna have some. If you really like France, they're gonna have some matches where they're priced pretty decent because it's some good squads in their group outside of Hungary. Otherwise, Dennis, I looked at this yesterday and I woke up and I checked and I'm like, oh, none of these matches that I bet on yesterday settled hardly. The Machova total, the over got there with a vengeance. That was like 30 games.
Easy squeezy.
The lesser underdog, which is like, I think she was like +115. She got there. Samsonova got there pretty easily, but like no one else has played. I don't even know if some of these matches are starting soon or not.
They're just getting underway. I think Kirstea and Muguruza are just starting. I think that was the last one we had up. It's either that starting or maybe it's Herzog Kasatkina from yesterday. Let me just pull up the schedule here. Kirstea just started. They're 3-3, but it looks like Muguruza has 2 break points. So hopefully by the time I close out of that, she'll have somehow held. And then we've got Herzog just underway with Kasatkina. That's 3-3. Kasatkina just starting to serve there, the 7th game. And Lauren Davis is playing Ostapenko. Looks like that's going to start in about an hour or so. So if you missed that one, you can still jump in. The rest are all underway, but that's okay because we have some more. We're going back to Germany, Andy. We've got tennis in Berlin. The women, we've got 2 totals here. Again, we're going to take another one of these over 21.5. That's how we know we're on grass, Andy. Never would do this. But again, as we talked about yesterday, and we saw in a bunch of these matches, I mean, there was a WTA match that had 3 tiebreakers, Andy. Tomljanovic beat Mertens 7-6, 6-7, 7-6. That's something you rarely ever see in the WTA. So happy to take an over here. Alexandrova and Svitolina, 2 players whose styles are very different. Alexandrova hits with more power. She's a little bit taller, has a stronger serve, whereas Svitolina is more of a fitness player. She has a little more control over the ball, doesn't hit it necessarily as hard. They actually play well against each other. When you look at their head-to-head matches, they're very, very close. You look at the line for this, it's pretty close. Svitolina is a small favorite. But the total to me looks about a half a game, and honestly, maybe a full game too low, Andy. It's hanging grass totals are tough, but I would entertain a 22.5 here. You look at all their matches, I think the lowest total they've ever had, and they've ever played on grass before, is 23. Svitolina plays a lot of tiebreakers. So does Alexandrova. Again, given how close this is, we even might get 3 sets. I don't know if we'll need it, but over 21.5 here looks pretty nice to me. I was able to get this at less than standard juice and played this all the way out to -115, even -120. And then we've got another underdog. Similar. We've got Kirstea today.
It's underdog season.
We'll see how that goes, against Muguruza in her first grass match. Alizé Cornet looked pretty good in her first match, has had some success on grass. Again, women don't tend to play a lot of grass tennis. There's just not a lot of tournaments. And you go back and look, has had a strong record. All of her losses are against good players. She faces Bianca Andreescu tomorrow, a player that we've talked about, someone that we don't ever know if she's totally healthy. We don't honestly know if she's showing up. I would be surprised if this just gets voided because Andreescu doesn't come and there's some sort of lucky loser or something. But if she does play, I like Cornet's chances here. I have this closer to +170, +175 myself. So if we play this all the way down to probably 210, even +200, just like her chances here. And again, not a full unit, a half unit play for me, even at such a nice number, because Andreescu is someone who is very talented, hasn't really ever played on grass. So we'll see how she does. But happy to take a nice big juicy number here on a match that she might not be totally ready for.
Yeah, I'm looking to the Herzog match is started in Birmingham. So we've got 2 girls, 2-1 underdogs rolling here. Actually a bigger one for Kirstea. And then the Davis Ostapenko match doesn't start for like another hour. I hate tennis scheduling. All right, Birmingham. Let's close it out with one more Birmingham pick.
Indeed. So we're in Germany, and we're going back to Birmingham. Donna Vekic Haven't seen her for quite a while. She's struggled with injuries and general poor play, but looked okay last week, played a solid match in her first match here in the first round. Like her here as a small favorite over Camilla Giorgi, someone who is very talented, but actually doesn't have great results on this surface and is generally someone who is very consistent in her level. So happy to back Vekic here at minus 140. Would take this all the way out to minus 145, maybe minus 150 at a smaller play. At that point, if you're a DFS player, I think she's going to be nice value there because I think some people look at Giorgi because when she does win, there's a lot of aces and things like that. But I like this spot for Vekic here. I have this at minus 160 myself.
All right, I'll play that. I can get down with that. Cirstea in a deuce. Herzog. Herzog just broke to 30 and will serve at 4 star sign 3. I don't know, 4 asterisk 3. 4 asterisk 3. I can't say asterisk. That's a word I've never been able to say. So.
Asterisk.
Asterisk.
All right. S's.
More golf tomorrow, more golf tonight, more Euros tomorrow. We're going to have a guest in the deep dive talking some Euros, trying to help us up, maybe coaching me up, telling me how to play these so I can get my shit in the get and figure out and actually stop pissing away money on. I'm not even betting that much, and it's still making me sad to lose some of these. But hopefully we get it back in the get today. Otherwise, do thank our sponsor WinBet, where you can get your $500 risk-free bet to bet any of this. Go bet some women's tennis. Bet some underdogs. He just gave you a couple underdogs over the last couple of days. Lauren Davis, you can bet her. She hasn't started yet. You can still get probably a plus 175 on that. I'd play it. I'm going to speak for Alex. I'd play it at 175. I think she's good down to evens. So whatever. Yeah, come on, stay here. Now I'm focused in on Flash Score, and it's going to ruin the rest of my morning. Either way, thanks to WinBet. The links are in the pinned tweet at Brown Bag Bets for me and Alex. Here and everyone here at BETSPERTS Media and Technology Group. Producer Dan running it on the back end. Reed Rooney checking into the chat. CEO finding time to watch the show between his busy meetings this afternoon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.